Hey, gang, you're in the darkened room.
Yeah, that's right. And we have merch now. Check it out. Link is in the description. We have t-shirts. We have hoodies.
Yeah, put us on your body.
Damn straight. And also hit the like button. Hitting the like button will help out the YouTube algorithm recommend our videos to people that may not have heard of us yet. So it'll help us grow.
Yeah, and leave your comments and suggestions. We have a lot of ground to cover on this channel, but we're always looking for topics and stuff that you want to hear about. Mm-hmm. So drop us a line. We read everything that you send.
That's right. And share with your friends. If your friends haven't heard of us either, send them a link. And, of course, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That way you can know when we release new videos.
Exactly.
Yeah, social media links are down in the description as well. We're all over Instagram and Twitter. We also are going to start doing live streams on Instagram, so you can be notified as to when we do those.
Awesome.
All right, so let's press play. Hello and welcome to the darkened room of music conversation.
I'm Darren.
And I'm Chris. And we've started a little series. We've done one already. For this edition, we're going to defend Party All the Time, Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Looking back, it's really not that great. The lyrics are cheesy. His singing style is not very interesting. And the music the production's so thin. It's kind of that fake keyboardy sound, fake grunt drum sound.
Yeah.
And I can kind of understand how people hate it to this day. The interesting thing, though, is Gen Z, the younger kids right now, are discovering the song for the first time, and they're loving it.
Is that right?
That's right.
See, I had no idea that was going on.
Yeah. So what do they see that we don't, the older generation?
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, we're going to defend it. All right, so let's talk about some of the criticisms of this song. Are they valid criticisms?
Well, in my opinion, I think they make some pretty good points. If you talk about the 80s production, I mean, come on. It doesn't get any more 80s sounding than Party All the Time.
Right.
Take the keyboard sounds, for instance. They're very 1985. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
The drums are thin. The drums are fake sounding. It's not sonically a very good sounding song.
No.
It's also lyrically very cheesy. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of substance to it. This isn't Bridge Over Troubled Water here.
No.
Not at all. The vocal performance is pretty weak. And what is strange about that is Eddie had kind of made a whole career doing parodies of other artists. And he could nail them.
Yeah.
He could do James Brown, and it was...
He did a great James Brown.
Identical. He could do Michael Jackson. Anything he wanted to do. He's really good.
He had a whole portfolio of vocal talent that he could have used.
Yeah.
And he came out with this.
And his voice naturally, I don't know, didn't sound very strong on this track.
Yeah.
And you got to question, the motives behind, why is he even doing this? He's got this big career with Saturday Night Live and his comedy, stand-up. I mean, nobody was big. If you weren't there, you have no idea how popular this man was.
Right. Yeah, he was huge.
Very huge. And so, there was some question as to why would he even want to do this to begin with. All of those are valid criticisms.
Exactly right, yeah.
That I will concede.
And in his previous stand-up comedy routines, he was critical of music like that.
He sure was.
He was very critical of Michael Jackson and the way he sung.
Yes.
And I remember back in the day, that was one of the jokes was like, he's criticizing Michael Jackson, and then he makes a record and sounds like Michael Jackson.
Right. So all of those things, I can say, even though as somebody who liked the song at 15 years old,
I did too, yeah.
I could understand the criticism.
Right.
I haven't looked too much into what were critics saying about it at the time. I can't imagine they were very impressed.
There was one critic that called it, he referenced Gumby from Saturday Night Live. It was Gumby.
One of my favorite characters.
It was Gumby Disco, I think is what he labeled it, yeah.
Yeah. So and just his whole persona back then as this guy who is a fun-loving, life of the party kind of guy, to make a song that is a little bit more subdued, and he's kind of playing the role of the fool here in the song, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So
from the perspective of some settle down with one person kind of guy, and
and
that's really not the lifestyle that he is at least projecting publicly.
And he very much seemed to me like an alpha male type personality.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. And that song is a little vulnerable.
Very much
the position that he's in the song.
Yeah.
So anyway, all of those things are weird. They are part of this discussion, and as far as the criticism of the song is concerned, I think are valid points.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so let's turn the tables and actually try to defend this song.
Let's do that, yeah. One of the big questions, of course, is why did he even do this? He had an amazing, illustrious career on Saturday Night Live, and he was putting out comedy albums. It wasn't even necessary that he tried a different direction. Well, turns out, now there's a rumor.
Yeah,
as to why he did this.
I remember hearing this rumor.
The rumor is he had a bet with Richard Pryor. Richard thought that Eddie Murphy could not sing, like really sing, and he couldn't produce an album and all this stuff. The rumor is that he bet him $100,000 that he couldn't make, a top-selling album,
a hit record. Yeah.
It was, and that's actually from the liner notes of this album that this Party All the Time came from. There's a note in there that says, "To Richard Pryor, my idol, with whom I have a $100,000 bet. No, MFer, I didn't forget." So that's where this rumor has come from. Is that in the liner notes.
And did we look into that?
We did look into that, and turns out that's not what that's referencing at all.
Okay.
It must be some inside joke between Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy.
So there's no evidence.
I found no evidence of that being why he made the album.
Yeah.
Or that they even made that bet. That's what that bet's about. I have no idea.
And I remember hearing that rumor, so I guess it's just urban legend.
Yeah, it's urban legend. But I did find out for real why he did this.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to read this. This is from, I think it's from Vibe magazine.
Okay.
This article came out a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a recent sourcing here.
Yeah, and they quoted an article that he did with the New York Times when he was making this album.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read it word for word here. Even before making it in comedy, Eddie wanted to be a singer. Here's a quote. "I organized my own bands when I was in high school on Long Island. I was singing before I did comedy. I would do tunes by the Commodores, some Earth, Wind, and Fire, and then I'd do impressions of Al Green or Elvis Presley. I was the band's manager, leader, and lead singer. Actually, there was guys in the group who sang much better than me. I just wanted to be out front."
All right, so he actually took music seriously.
He did.
He considered that as a career path, a legitimate career path.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously, it was a love of his, and he was probably just naturally funny anyway, but that was the first thing he wanted to do was be a singer.
Okay.
So once he gained success with his TV and comedy, it's like, I can do this now because I've got the means to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let's face it, he was good for the box office back then. No matter what he did, it sold.
Yeah, 48 Hours was out, and around that time you had Beverly Hills Cop,
which was monstrous movies.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
There you go. All right. So furthermore, in defense, Rick James did have his hands on this project. Now, Rick James is no lightweight.
Absolutely.
Mary Jane and Super Freak.
Yeah.
Rick James is solid. He's
cold-blooded.
He's a great talent. And you could argue, like, okay, Rick James did this, why wasn't it any better? But you got to go back to 1985. This was kind of the sound.
Yeah.
A year before, he did Mary Jane Girls in My House, and it kind of has the same similar feel.
Yeah, and the sonic quality is very similar.
Yeah. Now, it's possible this song could have been even better because originally I read that Prince was going to produce this album, but Prince bowed out, decided not to pursue it.
Wouldn't you have liked to have been a fly on the wall to understand why he bowed out?
Yeah.
I have my theories, but
I do too.
I don't want to start new rumors.
Don't want to speculate it. Yeah. But yeah, he was slated originally to produce it.
Right.
So yeah, we're talking 1985. I mean, there's so much stuff that came out in this era sounded the same. Everybody was going for that digital futuristic sound, and it's just, it was the thing at the time.
Keyboard was king.
Yeah, and people were kind of overusing it.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was the coolest thing ever.
That's right. And it's one of those most identifiable periods of music. You hear keyboards from the mid 80s and you know instantly, even if you haven't heard the song.
Yeah.
It's very, I guess you could say, dated, even though a lot of those sounds ironically have come back into the mainstream now.
Yeah, you've got The Weeknd using those very same
exact
sounds.
same.
And but you hear The Weeknd and you don't think, well, did that come out in the, like, if you weren't familiar with it, is that an 80s song? No, you don't think that.
Right.
There's a distinct 80s sound to all the songs that came out then. If you look at the Billboard chart, Party All the Time hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. So it was a very popular song at the time.
Right.
And it was kept out of the number 1 slot by probably Lionel Richie's worst song.
In my opinion, yes. Say You, Say Me.
That's right.
Yeah, that's no sonic wonder itself.
Not at all. No.
And then, just looking at the charts, number 3 was Alive and Kicking. Now, that song
that's a great
fantastic.
Song.
Yeah.
That's one that's lived the
Simple Minds, of course, yeah. That's what friends are for. Come on, bring me my vomit bucket.
I've got one.
I Miss You by Climax. Now, I like that song.
I like it okay, too.
I just like the feel of it.
But again, you hear it, it's like, oh, that's 80s cheese right there.
Yeah. But I do like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do, too.
Throw me in jail.
Yeah.
And then we have Small Town by Mellencamp. I think that's one of his finer moments.
Yeah. Probably the most organic song in this top 10. By the way, this list is from December of
December of 85.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Broken Wings was the number 7 song on the chart. That
Brilliant
same week.
song, yeah.
Yeah, one of the best ever. Separate Lives, come on. Mm-hmm. Tonight She Comes by the Cars. I like that song. Once again, very identifiable by its 80s cheesy keyboard sounds.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Mm-hmm. And then finally wrapping up, number 10, Election Day. I like that song okay. I was never like a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Prefer Duran Duran, of course.
Yeah. They were just a split off from Duran Duran, in case you aren't familiar with them.
Right. While the rock guys in Duran Duran were doing Power Station.
Yeah, which was a much better project.
Yeah, Power Station is incredible.
Yeah, so you look at that list and like all but one, John Mellencamp there, had keyboards in it.
Exactly.
Either it was out front or it was at least in there in providing texture.
And to not get off topic here, I remember John Mellencamp said, especially when he did the follow-up album to that, what was the one with Paper and Fire and all that? You know what I'm talking about, in 80s.
Cherry Bomb.
And all that.
Yeah.
He specifically said, I want to make a record that cannot be identified by its era.
There you go.
So
I think he succeeded with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, back to Eddie Murphy. So I do think that the song, you gotta, if you're gonna try to defend it like we're in the precarious position of trying to do here, you definitely have to take it in context of its time.
Exactly right.
And what was out at the exact same time to really fully understand how this song was a hit.
That's right.
Once again, I like the song. There's something about it. It doesn't bother me to this day when I hear it.
I like it.
Right.
I still like it.
And it's kind of weird. We were talking about this before we went and started recording.
Yeah.
It's weird that, the vulnerable position that he is in the song, when it gets to the chorus, which is My Girl Wants to Party All the Time, that part kind of elevates and is kind of like it's not really happy, but it's kind of more like the danceable, feel-good part of the song.
Right, yeah.
Which, that's the most depressing part of the song. He's telling you that, this girl, he can't control her, basically.
Yeah.
And so I always found that to be unusual, but in a weird way, it kind of works, I think.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
So that 80s sound, that 80s sound is actually starting to come back.
Totally.
And I think that's a good theory as to why Gen Z is finding the song for the first time.
Yeah.
Because they're hearing Harry Styles and The Weeknd use some of these sounds, so they're picking up on that. And maybe it's a novelty. They know Eddie Murphy as the talking donkey in Shrek. And they're like, they had no idea that he did music back then.
Valid point.
But it's all over Twitter. People are loving Party all the time now.
Yeah. So in defense of the song, I think there's far worse out there.
Yeah.
It's not a song that I would go rush into the radio to turn off or to change the station or to turn down.
Right.
We even defended We Built This City.
Yeah.
I really don't want to hear that song. We defended the song. But if it came on, I would be more likely to change it than if Party All the Time came on.
I would agree with that. I feel the same way.
Yeah, I don't have any hatred for this song at all.
Yeah. All right, so let's play trivia.
Let's do it.
All right, trivia time. Let's test our knowledge again.
The trivia
with
box.
The box.
Let's do it.
Okay, so it is your turn to draw.
It is.
Yep, and I think I opened it up the right way. So
all right. Whoa, pick 2.
You always do that.
I'm really bad about that.
Yeah.
My sticky fingers.
We're going to have to start doing 2 questions every time.
All right, the category is mosh pit.
Mosh pit.
So
okay.
usually this has to do with a live performance.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I remember the last time we got this subject, we thought it was going to be about metal, and it was like Leonard Skinner or somebody like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's hear it.
Which band called their live album Live Era 87 to 93? REM, Guns N' Roses, Smithereens, or Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers? I'm going to say
I think that was Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, because that was like their window of their highest fame.
All right. And the answer is Guns N' Roses.
There you go. I wasn't sure of that. It's like I could almost see the CD cover.
Yeah.
And,
me too.
And see that
I knew that
on the title.
Yeah. And that was, I guess, if you did get confused by the title with the mosh pit thing, that would almost lead you directly to that with the other choices.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but the last time it wasn't. It was like, I don't remember what it was, but it was
it was somebody, like the Outlaws. Right?
Yeah.
When did the Outlaws?
The Outlaws. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Bring them back alive or something like that. I don't know. Well, all right.
Okay, well, cool. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back again with another episode very soon, so take care.
See ya. It doesn't happen that often, biatch and he had one of those catchphrases, man, that just came along that just entered the culture and it's still around.
Yeah.
I still say up in here.
Yeah, I do too.